So we're going to do, I guess, biggest regrets from a recruiting process. So like the first day coaches were able to reach out to players. UCLA reached out to me and BYU, but UCLA was my, I guess, top of those two. And I mean, they were pretty much telling me like, okay, you're a number one guy, number one libero. Like we don't really want anybody else. Like it's pretty much all you. And I was like, oh, that's great. And then they were asking me like when I wanted to commit, but it wasn't like, okay, when do you want to commit to us? It was just like, when are you thinking about committing? So I was like, okay, like I guess I don't want to just commit like right now. Like, so I told him like, oh, I guess I want to wait a little bit and like see my options. And I think that kind of ruined my chances with them because I don't know, they didn't see, I guess maybe they wanted me to be all in right away. So then they kind of just like slowly stopped talking to me because they thought I was, I guess, interested in other schools.
Based off what I was saying before, well, you don't want to play your hand. You don't want to be like, okay, this is the only school this is the only school I want to go to, because then they have the leverage. But you can still know in your head, okay, you're my number one school. I'm going to respond differently. I'm going to be careful with what I say in order to put it on them to give me an offer. Still showing interest, still showing that, I'm not looking completely at other schools, but also not telling them no. So in Diego's case, what did you say?
They're like, when you think about committing, is it like, do you want to commit like right away or like you want to wait a little bit? I was like, I guess I want to like wait a little bit and see my options. And Patrick thinks it would be better if I...
Well, you can say to them, well, if the right offer comes up, I'm willing to commit. I don't know my time frame right now.
Like I don't have a time frame.
Yeah, I don't have a time frame, but for sure, if the right offer comes up, I'm willing to commit right away. That puts it on them, but it also doesn't tell them like, okay, you're my number one option, or you're my only option. I think sometimes it's okay to say you're my number one option as of right now, or not. Don't say it in that exact words. Maybe say you're my number one option. I really love your program. As of right now, I think that your program best fits what I see, best fits my future, that satisfies them and that makes them want to give you an offer.
What about you? What's a regret that you have?
I think my biggest regret was sort of similar to you. I mean, I think we're, okay, just to be clear, I think we're both very happy with where we are. I love UCSB, Diego loves Pepperdine, and everything works out for us. So we're very thankful for that. But obviously we have like improvements on how we could have changed how we went through the recruiting process. And mine was, I think I was so broad at the beginning. I kind of just let schools talk to me. I opened up like a lot. I had probably like 8 schools I was talking to, but maybe 1 or 2 of them were like serious. And that's like, yeah, that's cool to hear. But if you keep going through the recruiting process, right? I'm in my junior year, I'm talking to these coaches and it's like, okay, that's cool. But now eventually these coaches want responses. They want like, okay, you need to start coming after us. I'm a top player. I was a top player, but coaches still get like annoyed if you're not like narrowing your list down. And I was, but I wasn't letting the coaches know. So my biggest regret was by senior year, I wasn't telling these coaches that I I wanted them, and I wasn't being clear that, okay, I only have 3 schools left. I was pretty much narrowed down to UCSB, BYU, and NYU. And I wasn't telling these schools that. They were kind of, okay, well, I think he has like 8 options still. He has no idea what he wants. And that turned against me, I think. I think if I told these schools, yeah, you're in my top 3, I'm going to narrow it down by here. It gives me a deadline, but also gives them an incentive to get me by that certain time. And
they might give you more, like give you money and try to
they're like,
get you that way.
Which actually I did get offered a little more money, because I think schools have a certain deadline where they need to get you committed by. But yeah, it's smarter to start wide, but ultimately you want to know which schools you want to go to and then focus on those schools and commit pretty much.
That is the goal, to commit to a school you're happy with.
Yeah. I always thought there's no point in committing because you're not signing anything. Like, it's all verbal, but no one really gets out of verbal. Like, if they want you, they want you. And unless you have, like, a huge mind-blowing injury where you, like, crashed and hit your head.
Legs.
So that's important. Don't get injured during this time. Try to be smarter. Obviously, in high school, we did not the smartest stuff, but
don't recommend skateboarding or like
don't do really dumb stuff. You can do dumb stuff still.
And those were our biggest regrets during the recruiting process and what we learned. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something. Please stay tuned for the other videos that we have.